but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Good business over here, man.
3 a.m.
Rule number 1, always practice what you preach. Rule number 2, quit crapping where you eat. And rule 3, if you made the mattress, then you sleep. And rule 4, don't just be relaxing on no beach. This far, my road runners trapping in the streets. We need you on point, you in traffic with police. Last thing we need is to see another casket and free to brawl fair time tapping in with meats. You gotta be quicker than that. They catching them in release. Spin cycle, just rinse and repeat. And that's the whole world though. Your woes really ain't that deep. No love for niggas 2-count sheep. Point with the pen and the pad, my mind gone. Reporting live from a whole different time zone. And upgrade the ticket, that expensive ride home. And 90 yards knew to leave the kitchen lights on. Straight back to work, gotta keep the lights on. $1 million worth of game written in my iPhone. Call me Councilman Miles, representing my zone. I'm a product of the city, girl, the streets of my bones. I'm a damn the North Towner, West Sider, ballin' out of control, check the game sliders. He just a North Towner, West Sider, and ain't a damn thing changed, it's the rate higher. I'm just a North Towner, West Sider, North Town, West Side, North Towner, West Sider.
Okay, Miles, what are you rapping about right here? Break it down for the people in the back.
But that's called North by Northwest. It's off the latest EP called Imagine That. Available for purchase everywhere you get music. Purchase that, iTunes, even.biz. You can get the vinyls, get the merchandise off of mileslowmusic.com. That's North by Northwest. I'm talking about my section in my city, the north side of town, the west side of town. So North by Northwest. You know, got the festival, South by Southwest.
Right.
I hijacked that, North by Northwest.
Okay, I got you. Even.biz, buy the art from the artist is what it says on the website. And we're big proponents of that if you want to support independent artists, but even mainstream artists. If you buy it instead of streaming it, the artist gets much more benefit from that, and you get to keep the music even if you get kicked off Spotify or Apple Music or what, even if you stop your subscription, you can still own the music.
Exactly. And, think about it like this. From an artist's perspective, like 1 million streams on Spotify specifically is roughly about $1,500. If I sell a CD for $15, I need to sell 100 of those to equal what would be 1 million streams. So you're actually really helping the artist a whole lot more if you go ahead and support and buy the art from the artist.
Yeah. And I think that's gonna be more necessary, and I believe it's even more necessary now than it was because of the way the record business works, which I'm not claiming to be an expert on, but I've been in radio long enough to know how much easier it was for artists to make money selling music back in the day because they got a bigger chunk than they got what? I can't read that. You're gonna have to come back in here, Jasmine. Do you see these big old glasses that I got on? I can't. Jasmine's on the way out the door. She's holding up a sign, but it's too small for me to read.
Jasmine said, just so you know, it's raining now.
Oh, it is raining again.
Coming down.
All right, my Angelino friends. Well, it's good for those of you who are having fire trauma, but not so good for those of you who are trying to do some cardio, walking around the block. Put on your rain hat and go anyway.
Now would be a good time to check on those ball tires you got, y'all. Like, go ahead and get them fixed today.
You know what I learned back in the day when I was married to someone who was in gang reduction and youth development?
You learn.
Apparently, the violence goes way down in the rain in LA.
For sure.
Because we don't like to be outside in the rain.
Take a day off.
That doesn't happen in other cities. In other cities, they don't mind getting their sneakers dirty. Here, We're not trying to do all that.
No, the hood take a day off on when it's raining.
Yeah, so I don't know why I thought about that, but well, I guess because it's a rare day of rain, and also I thought it was going to stay hot for a long time because we had such a slow start to summer this year. But here we go. Okay, so phone lines are open 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And for those of us who are interested in reparations, I really want us to realize today is the third day of October. So 9 days from now, the governor decides whether to sign bills that, whether you directly consider them reparations or not, come out of the reparations movement. Jasmine Canick made a really good point, which is that bills, proposed legislation, requested laws either come from the people or they come from lawmakers or corporations, sometimes lobbyists. But anything and everything having to do with reparations comes from the people, from activists, from the movement. And so we have to learn how to close the deal. And that's important. We close the deal by weighing in. In this case, you don't get to vote because they're coming out of this legislative body of our state, which is the assembly. I guess that would be like the Congress, the representatives, the House of Representatives. In our state, it's the assembly. And on the other side, you have the state Senate. They've gone through all their committees. They've gone through all their processes. This is what is left on the governor's desk related to reparations. And he takes a sweet time and he has little ceremonies and photo ops for different kinds of bills. And then he signs them. Or in many times when he decides not to sign them, he quietly kicks them to the curb. And I think we need to track these. That's one of the reasons we have a Freedman Friday, not just for California, but for everybody, because when we create momentum in the reparation space, in repair, in justice for past harms, which is not just slavery, by the way, it's Jim Crow and all of the subsequent harms and badges of slavery and the disenfranchisement and exploitation of descendants of enslaved persons in this country. They do benefit everybody. And even not just all so-called people of color, but our society in general. When we get to the point, and I believe we will, where we're looking at checks, actual cash, which I'm a big advocate of, cut the check for reparations, then that money is going to be spent all over in Black-owned, white-owned, Asian-owned, Latino, and everybody else owned businesses, indigenous-owned businesses. It's going to be a boon for the economy for all. Of course, checks are not on the table this time, but there are other things, and I believe some of them are important steps towards actually cutting the check. I would argue that the Bureau is that on a state level. That's SB 518. And if you disagree with me, I encourage you, not just talk smack about me on Instagram. Call me. Let's talk about it. I am actually open-minded. I'm opinionated, but open-minded. So perhaps you can convince me. That doesn't usually happen by talking over me, but by talking with me. Perhaps I can convince you. When we dialogue and even debate respectfully, it increases our gray matter, our brain power, strengthens our arguments, broadens our support, and educates the people listening. So I encourage you to call in if you agree or disagree at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I believe a bureau, and yes, I would have preferred the Bradford bill, but that's gone. It's dead. It's buried. It's over. The bill we have now is SB 518. And I do agree that ideally I wouldn't love to have it housed in the Department of Justice, but it is a tangible outcome for something, a tangible outcome of this struggle for reparations. And it takes away the argument that, oh, I can't do land restitution because we don't have a bureau. It takes away the argument, oh, I can't designate funds because there's no bureau. And honestly, I think it takes away the argument for SB 437. It takes away the argument for endless research for universities to figure out who's eligible. First of all, I believe we already know who's eligible per the California Task Force. But second of all, then that function can be relegated to the Bureau. We don't need universities to do endless studies on being a poison pill for other reparations progress. We have a Bureau that can do that. So I'm in support of that. If you're not, that's fine. Call me, hop on the YouTube and make your case. SB 437, we already talked about that with Jasmine Canick. That is putting, this is basically what Gavin Newsom wanted to happen last year when he was the hidden hand behind tanking those reparations bills and then made sure all the blame went to the CLBC. This is what he wanted then, which is to put it back in another study after the task force already did the study so we can delay and kick the can down the road. So I am not in support of 437. AB 766, it's a racial equity analysis. Okay, all right, I don't know if it's strictly speaking reparations, but I'm not against having more data. To me, more data is better than less data, okay? Unless it is a delay tactic, right? As in the case of 437, in which case that would be a no. But 766 seeks to require equity analysis for executive branch agencies and respond accordingly to further advance racial equity. It's not something I'm probably going to write a letter about, but I think it's a plus. It's on the plus side. I'll just reiterate a couple, what else is on the table. And we have a lot of other things going on in this world that we can talk about, from the government shutdown to the ICE raids to Donald Trump's secret perk he's given to the folks that gave him a whole airplane. Quid pro quo. We got a lot to talk about. 800-920-1580. Love to hear from you. Love to see you in the chat at KBLA 1580 on YouTube. We are unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically reparationist, unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right. So I'm hoping that you guys already know this, but in case you don't, it's confusing. There's so many bills, and this is an important moment because, as we said, the 12th apparently is the deadline for the governor to sign any bill, not just reparations bills, any bills. So we also have AB 62, that's McKinner's bill to create pathways for victims of racially motivated eminent domain to seek redress. I'm a strong yes on this. This is something I would weigh in with the governor on because I think it's important. And as I said to Jasmine, I got 2 words for you: Bruce's Beach. Bruce's Beach. And yay, if it helps other people, yay. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, you had your land taken through racism and you're Asian and you get it back because of reparations activism. I don't look at that as a negative. So there's that one. And then there is AB 742, which is licensing, priority for descendants of enslaved persons and licensing. Another thing that I thought about, this is Al-Awari's bill, that is good about it, is that it further establishes descendants of American chattel slavery as a group that can be granted redress. In other words, that we would have legal, it helps to establish legal standing for us as a group. And then, of course, there's AB 7, which authorizes priority admissions for descendants of American chattel slavery to higher education institutions. And the reason that I think this is reparations, even though others don't, is because it could help to establish our legal standing to receive checks or any other kind of redress, repair, restitution, because it codifies into law through this program a category, which is descendants of American chattel slavery. And to me, that is a boon to the lineage argument. So call it what you will. It's an important bill. One of the things that I'm just sick about is the fact that once again, because I think this is the 3rd time, this time it doesn't even make it to the governor's desk to prohibit slavery in California. Make it make sense. ACA 6 didn't even make it onto the governor's desk to prohibit slavery in all forms. We voted on it last session. Voters voted it down. We're going to keep trying on that, though. But so that's where we are, and that's what we're up against in the next 10 days. 10 days. And as Jasmine said, she's coming back on the 13th, so we'll have the opportunity to talk about what the governor did and did not sign. gavin.newsom@gov.ca.gov. That's the email, gavin.newsom@gov.ca.gov. Phone number, 916-445-2841, 916-445-2841. Give them a little ringy dingy. I think the sooner the better, because you want to give them time to have some impact around these issues. So what was I referencing? Well, remember the big fancy plane that Trump got for free? He claims the Department of Defense got it, but really he got it. It was a $400 million luxury airliner from Qatar or Qatar. I hear people pronounce it both ways. Well, they gave it to the Department of Defense, not me personally. Liar. Anyway, it was a $400 million gift. And guess what they got in return? This is buried by all the headlines about the government shutdown and everything else. The United States shall regard any armed attack on the territory, sovereignty, or critical infrastructure of the state of Qatar as a threat to the peace and security of the United States. They got their own personal little NATO. That's a pretty good deal. For just a mere 400 million used plane, you too can get your own personal NATO. In the event of such an attack, the United States shall take all lawful and appropriate measures, including diplomatic, economic, and, if necessary, military, to defend the interests of the United States and of the state of Qatar. Well, well, well. 400 million is a lot of money. I don't have it. Many countries don't have it. I wonder if that would work for Ukraine. They don't have any money, so probably not. But yeah, while you were not looking, this is what the president was doing. And that is crazy, my friends. Meanwhile, CNN is saying that this government shutdown is probably going to drag on. And I tend to agree. And that's because, unlike government shutdowns in the past, the Trump administration is welcoming this. They want it. They feel it gives them a chance to put Project 2025 in play more quickly. They feel that it gives them an excuse to do massive layoffs and even get rid of entire government agencies. Congress doesn't appear to be working very hard on a deal. The Trump administration says they're planning to start laying off thousands of people starting today. They already have made a list of agencies that they plan to target. And they are still fighting over these Obamacare subsidies, which actually means help for you to pay for your family's health insurance that the Republicans want to get rid of. So this could go on. And if it goes on and on, the longer it goes, the more people are impacted. I can't remember how many, I think it was 30 days, it could be a little longer, before SSI starts to see impacts in terms of the funding of that. Now, Social Security funding is a separate revenue source from the money they take out your check. So that would continue longer, the Social Security payments, possibly indefinitely, but all the services surrounding it. If you need to update something, if you need information or help with a problem with your account or anything like that, those folks, those offices shut down. So that's going to be impacted. But the longer it goes, the more people get laid off, the more people's benefits will cease to exist. The first program to be hit will be WIC, the food supplements for people, low-income people, women and children. So there's really at this moment not a lot of incentive for the Trump administration to bring the government back online. I do think they will start to feel the heat after a while as they start getting more and more blame for this. And that's why I think it's important to talk about it. And it's important for lawmakers to do a better job talking about it so that we can pressure the government. The only way that they actually probably would feel pressure is from the people. And even that for Trump may be limited, since he said he doesn't need any more votes. Another thing going on besides these ICE raids and the government shutdown and the quid-pro-plane is President Trump says that the U.S. is now in an armed conflict. You notice he didn't say war, because wars have to be approved by Congress. But what's the difference between an armed conflict and war? He says the U.S. is in an armed conflict with drug cartels. So the president of peace, who wanted a Nobel Peace Prize, who said he was going to end the war in Ukraine on day one, notice it's still dragging on, said he was going to end the conflict in Gaza, notice it's still dragging on, is now saying that he started another war, aka armed conflict, with drug cartels. Remember the war on drugs? This is the war on drug cartels. That is a war which is general and non-specific with no definable goal that can drag on forever and drain the coffers of the U.S. What happened to America first? This memo says that the United States is in a non-international armed conflict with designated terrorist organizations. How is it non-international when you're going after international drug cartels? These people play too much. They're playing in our face. They're playing with our money. Oh, when this happened, Apple, the big company that's kissing the ring, that brought a golden statue to the president, they're removing the apps that track ICE and warn people when ICE is coming to their neighborhoods, taking it off the App Store after government pressure. How is that not authoritarianism? It's the perfect time to call me. The phone lines are open and we're going at it. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bray Wood with BIN News Now. Sean Diddy Combs will be sentenced today in Manhattan after being found guilty of transporting women for prostitution. Michael Bachner is a defense attorney and says the sentencing will center around abuse.
So how the court considers that type of violence is going to be an interesting thing for the court to see. I think the sentencing is going to take most of the day.
Combs wrote to the judge asking for mercy. A viral clash between Black representatives Jasmine Crockett and Byron Donalds reignited debate over criminal justice reform. The House passed Donalds' D.C. Crimes Act, rolling back juvenile protections he benefited from. Crockett called him hypocritical. And a Black man from Chicago has been named to the Time 100 Next list for 2025. Marshall Hatch Jr. co-founded the MAFA Redemption Project, which supports young men with housing, job training, and education. He'll be honored in New York on October 30th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you really know what's in your tap water? We believe your water should support your health, not work against it. Upgrade your home with a LifeSource whole house system. Clean water from every tap, no salt, no hassle. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Rams coach Sean McVay left himself open for relentless second guessing. He took a major gamble on his team Thursday night at SoFi, and it had a disastrous result. The Rams ended up losing in overtime to the San Francisco 49ers 26-23. With 5 minutes left in the overtime, the Rams had a 4th and 1 at the 49ers 11. Instead of giving Joshua Cardi a chance to kick a very short field goal to tie the game, McVay went for it on 4th down. Rams running back Kyron Williams was stopped short of the first down, giving the 49ers an emotional win. The Rams were 8.5-point favorites. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said Shohei Ohtani will be the team's starting pitcher tomorrow in Game 1 of their playoff series against Philadelphia. In Ohtani's last 3 starts, he is not allowed to run in 14 innings of work and has 18 strikeouts. He looks ready for the postseason. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Hello, KBLA listeners. This is Dr. Paul Wallace. I want to discuss a type of eczema called atopic dermatitis, which is often misdiagnosed in Black children and adults. Atopic dermatitis is an autoimmune disorder that can be accompanied by food allergies, hay fever, and asthma. This rash targets the inner arms, behind the knees, and face, but can go all over the body. It causes excessive dryness and 24/7 itching. It's the scratching and steroid use that leads to permanent scarring. I'm enrolling patients in a new clinical research study focused on better treatment options for atopic dermatitis. Of course, your medication and travel reimbursements are provided. To see if you qualify, visit dermstudies.com or call us at 323-296-0048. That's 323-296-0048. There's nothing worse than itching. Let's take the next step in controlling this problem.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Man, the chat room is fire. I love you guys so much in the comments you come up with, the way you see things. We educate each other. You can go to youtube.com, KBLA 1580, and weigh in there. Yeah, a lot of good combo there. So the phone lines are open, 800-920-1580. Let's talk about it. Man almighty. You saw, I was talking about the European leaders laughing at Trump because he claims to have brought peace to two countries that were never at war. And this is just what they got on tape. Can you imagine? Because, I mean, we're laughing at ourselves. Can you imagine what the rest of the world thinks? But meanwhile, it's lethal and deadly for a lot of folks. And someone in the chat said, you know, that Israel bombed Qatar and we didn't do anything about it. I wonder if the little executive order that, I don't know if it's officially called an executive order, the little order that Trump signed, the quid-pro-plane that he signed, would make him defend them against Israel in the future. Survey says no, but maybe we'll see, because it seems that the Netanyahu government is like that, the one kid that gets away with everything. Let's go to Kwamel calling us from Gardena. Hi, Kwamel.
Hello there. As I'm in my raggedy work vehicle, I need joy. I need joy, because we were clearly dealing with a regime that's out to suppress us any way they can and always they can, and pretty much for sport, and is just on a mission like to make America as miserable as possible.
Yeah.
You know, between the shutdowns and the way they handle it, and the constant technology, as the 5% say, of gaslighting every single turn, and you know, flooding us with bots and everything. It's nasty. And you know, I wonder what kind of holiday season we're going to have. Not that I celebrate Christmas or anything like that, but
I celebrate all of
really
it, Kwamel. I celebrate Groundhog Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Yom Kippur. I'm festive, you know. But I feel
you still you still hang on to the 4th and then give it up for Juneteenth, or
Yep,
is there room for both?
yep. No, I read my Frederick Douglass and then go have some barbecue. Shoot.
Happy fireworks to everybody. But I'm
sorry to interrupt, but I saw in the chat that you brought up a show I did a long time ago on street signs when OJ, when talk radio was bashing black people 24/7 because of the OJ case, right? And they were even more racist then in a way than they are now because they were so mad about OJ. And I didn't know we went back that far, Kwamel. That's when I had Larry Elder and Tom Likas and some of the other right-wing guys. I think that was kind of my debut in the real talk radio space because they were not expecting me. I came at them real hard.
Yeah, because I was like, playing Tom Likas back in his 710 days, and I was like, okay, this guy's kind of cool. I hadn't heard of Larry Elder yet, but I'd heard of Prager having him being on TV. I think he was on there. Mm-hmm. I brought it up when you and we had the Poetics on, because I know all y'all were doing your thing at the beat. And that was a pretty decent time. Yeah, we had crack and some of the gang violence ensuing from it, but we had a good climate. Like hip hop was clicking on all cylinders. There were good things going on in the culture, but that's the thing. Like we got this these buffoons depressing the culture and trying to make us just think about them all the time, and it's just stupid and weird.
But we still have good things going on in the culture. I mean, let's not forget that. I need to have more poets and artists, and I need to remember to have more poets and artists. And I mean, gosh, the creativity is amazing, but the BS is also amazing. I don't know if you're tracking the Nicki Minaj and Cardi B beef, where they're actually talking about each other's kids. And Miles says it's just an album rollout. Maybe they think it's their version of Drake and Kendrick, but it's nasty.
I mean, I pretty much would expect Megan or Armani Caesar or Dolce or somebody to come in and just nuke them both and be like, yeah, no, Bar Wars, what's happening? If it was going to be that kind of party. And then I'd be like, yo, call Large Professor, call Pete, call Primo and Q-Tip, have them, shoot them productions over to them ladies. That would get the game. That would get the game cracking. That's the thing. Just to keep the culture intact. It's going to be up to us to just find every way to maintain joy. I was asking, a lot of the friends this week, like, how y'all maintaining joy? How y'all maintaining focus when these clearly depressing things are happening? That they're starved for our attention as usual. They really want our attention that bad, and it tells you how, despite their being unserious, they're serious about that. Why would anybody want to continue to vote that back in unless they just wanted to see the world burn like Joker? But and I'll leave you with that. That's what exactly is happening. That regime is the Joker who needs Batman, us. They want our attention because they get a kick out of it. But you're right, Dominique. I need to pick that pen back up. There needs to be some poems, speaking everything, oration given to what's happening, oration to give us hope. Give myself hope, hell. But on that note, I thank you for your time.
Yeah, give each other hope. Thanks you for riding with me all these years, Kwamel. I cannot believe it's been 30 years since the OJ verdict. That means I've been on the mic even more than 30 years because I was already on there when that mess happened. That's right when I got to LA. That was my baptism by fire into this beautiful Southern California region. And I think racial tensions were even higher then than they are now, I would argue.
Where does that day rank on like the most exciting days for you, Liz?
For me,
I'm here for like my media people saying like that was the day where it was gold for us to be on air that day.
I can't say I was excited, but it was definitely hyped. It was hyper. It was terrible because the division was so bad. I mean, back then, random white people would ask you where you stood on the OJ verdict because it was like a litmus test. Are you a okay black person or a not okay black people? And some black people just supported OJ because they're sick of the justice system, not because they loved him or even because they thought he was, innocent until proven guilty. But what Carl Douglas's piece makes the great point. Can you imagine an OJ verdict now? Trump would probably send in the National Guard, insult the jury, insult the lawyer, and foment. And if we had that back then, we may have had a civil war.
Let me specify. My bad. My brain was moving too fast right there. I'm thinking about the car chase, not the actual verdict trial. So that's my bad on that.
Okay. The car chase. Yeah, the car chase. That was
low speed chase.
Yeah, the low speed chase. See, I wasn't in LA then yet.
Okay.
During the low speed chase, but it was a media moment. I mean, people were riveted by that, and it was bizarre because you didn't know what was really happening. The whole thing was bizarre. It was like the launch of the reality TV era in a way, because we were all following that trial the way we follow everything today. But I wanted to get your 2 cents on Nicki and Cardi, because is that now the requisite to roll out an album? You have to have a terrible beef with someone? To me, the insulting each other's kids is a bridge too far. I would not choose peace at that point. If you talk about my kids.
I think they should choose peace at this point. And I'm not promoting they get out there and duke it out. We know Cardi B's with child, so I don't think she's gonna really get out there and duke it out anyway. That's a whole nother story.
That's
part
true.
of rollout. But yeah. I mean, I think that this is where we're at now. I think we've seen the number success that we got during the Kendrick Drake era of it. So the blogs and the blog pages on Instagram and the shade rooms and Say Cheese and all them, they're going to go ahead and promote it and push it. Academics, they're going to cover it. I don't think this is the best way to promote an album, but if you have no other way to really promote your album, I mean, first of all, the industry is dying. We're watching it die in front of our faces, ladies and gentlemen. Be aware of what we're watching and how they're trying to keep it alive at that level. So if that's the way they're going to promote the albums going forward, I guess. But
I mean, how many babies are you going to have? You're going to have one every time. You really think the child is part of the promotion? That's crazy to me. I think she messed around and got pregnant.
Okay.
But who knows? You know more about the industry than I do.
I'm saying, even if it's not just car, I mean, we know that happens though.
Right.
And then
Nicki Minaj issues an apology for insulting the child, but the apology is full of insults. So then Cardi B, who had been taking the high road, comes back and insults Nicki Minaj's kid. I think it's
sloppy, right?
Huh?
Sloppy, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Cardi B described it as dark. It's very dark.
It doesn't seem very well thought out. It doesn't seem very well planned. It seems like we're trying to make this as I'm not even say trying. It may even be organic, because we know the type of artist and person that these women are and can be. But it's a new low. It's throwing sloppy.
But if you look at Nicki Minaj, who is a real pioneer in terms of opening doors for this next wave of female MCs. Okay, you look like you don't agree, but I think she is. I mean, she was the first one through. But she's firing off at everybody right now, not just Cardi B.
Oh, it has. That's the thing.
I mean, but she's this time. I don't know. It seems like it's a little more extreme. Maybe I haven't been paying enough attention. So you don't think that's drug fueled? You just think that's her brand?
Her brand may be drug fueled for all I know. So it may be drug fueled, but it is on brand. I'm not surprised that these are the two that are doing it right now. And we got a bunch of other little mini rap beefs on the women's side of hip hop right now too. I don't know if you're following. But yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised it's these two, the top two that are doing this. I think they've had a run-in before, I believe, at a fashion week.
Yeah, I think they did too. I don't remember though. And those little mini beefs, I probably see them on Instagram. So I don't know if I'd say tracking, but noting, and I guess it must be working. Or their publicists, record labels, and others would be telling them to stop, right?
Exactly.
It would be shutting it down. And it also feeds the TMZs of the world. Everybody
eats. Charlemagne gets to eat, and academics get to eat, and Adam 22 and Vlad and Wack, they all get to eat and talk about it and cover it, and then boom, we get the album drop, and we get what? Cardi B having a #1 album in the world. Like I said, I really do think Nicki's probably not far behind with her album rollout coming soon.
Yeah, and then of course Nicki's claiming that the numbers are inflated, which is exactly what Drake has said about Kendrick Lamar, that because it's not like a physical album is bought. I mean, technically you could rig streaming numbers, right? Just like you could rig election results. It's all on a computer.
We had the same thing. I don't know if you more hip hop slush that they're releasing out there right now. I don't know if you checked any of those Young Thug jail calls that came out a couple weeks ago.
I did, yeah.
He was talking about, man, we need to boost the numbers for this album while I'm in jail, like we did with Gunna's album. So I mean, it's a thing. Like they know what's up. It's not like it's a secret that is going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cardi is inflating albums. Nicki did it with her last album with the Anaconda track. That song was 2-3 years older than the album, and she put it on the deluxe version to boost the streams up at a time. So it's a game.
It's a game. It's always, business is always a game, and it's full of shenanigans. But I hate to see Black women or Afro-Caribbean and African-American women or women in general fighting with each other. It's not my favorite, whether it's on reality TV or whether it's hip hop marketing and promotions. I think it promotes like misogyny in a way.
And that too, but also, and it dilutes the product of hip hop that we're trying to push, and that we love and support, and it's changed everybody's life in the conversation at this point in time. So these are Grammy winners we talking about. These aren't, Instagram newbies coming up. These are Grammy winners we talking about.
Right. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I guess, reality TV makes money. Rap beef makes money. I wish we would choose peace. But I do admit, if you called my baby ugly, which is what Nicki Minaj said about Cardi B's baby, I wouldn't choose peace. You can't attack people's children, and then she attacks her kid back. Just stop it. Stop it. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that you can have an amazing weekend ahead. Don't forget, we can keep in touch during the weekend at KBLA 1580 on all social platforms. And for me, it's DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I'm most active on Instagram, but I'm doing a lot on TikTok these days, really enjoying TikTok. And I do have a YouTube channel. I know, really enjoying TikTok while it lasts because, the MAGA billionaires have taken it over. But really, really happy that, I get to connect with you guys off and on the air, and it's on. It's on. We got a lot to talk about. I know you heard Tavis in that spot talking about the Left Coast Forum, and I hope you'll join us there. I'm going to be there. This is a wonderful conference that used to be annual, and then it went away and stayed away during pandemic, and now it's back. And it's lovely that the KBLA folks are teaming up with LA Progressive folks, and it's a whole conference at LA Trade Tech on October 25th, 2025. I hope you'll be there. I hope to see you there. I'm on a panel, and a lot of our KBLA hosts are on panels. I know Tavis will be there. We have great speakers, including Dr. Cornel West and other surprise guests who I'm not allowed to say. So definitely you want to be there. All right. And you can register for that. The link is at kbla1580.com. So now, Miles, the Department of Homeland Security is saying they're going to be doing ICE enforcement at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
To me, that's racist because they're doing it in response to Bad Bunny being on the bill. Bad Bunny is an American citizen. Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States. But because he's Latino and the Supreme Court says you can profile, they're going to be ruining your Super Bowl. Can you imagine? I wish the MAGA billionaires that own those teams would make Trump stand down, because it's going to mess up their big party.
The Walton family and Jerry Jones and all that.
Yeah. I wish they would.
Robert Kraft.
Make a phone call. Shut that down. Okay, we've got Lynette from LA on the phone. Lynette, you got to make it quick because it's almost the end of the show.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for taking my call. And reparations and men of our ancestors, of course, still. Did you hear about, now MAGA and Trump and them is this America First thing, but did you hear about Argentina getting $9 billion bailout? And we know that that's the place where all the Nazis went when they fled from Germany.
Great
when they had
point, Lynette.
Right?
Great point.
And this global fascism stuff, and the MAGA talking about, this America First stuff, they want to be the protected class, and they want to bring Nazism back. As we know, we should be the protected class, and really we should be getting our reparations right about now. Really, it's past due. But that just goes to show you where their priority is, and they got all this money for the wars, but they'd rather take from Medicare than to take from the military, And it's just really sickening. We're gonna have to really press our cause more than ever, because they're just lying. And they even hold our taxes back in California, since they want to take our money anyway for everything that we want in all the blue states, and just put it towards where it's supposed to be and get our thing going, economically here, despite what they're doing, because this is totally a bunch of BS. And God don't like ugly. This is a bunch of mess. They talking about they can give Argentina money.
$20 billion to be exact. That's a lot of money.
What kind of crap is that? This does not happen to anybody until we check. This is going to keep on happening until we check them at the door. This is not acceptable.
Yeah, we got to leave it there because it's almost the end of the show, Lynette. But it's a great point. I hadn't connected the dots as far as all those Nazis. She's right, though. Many Nazis ran to Argentina, as a safe haven when they were fleeing justice after World War II. And the president, Javier Milei, is being basically propped up by the Trump regime. What happened to America First? It's a really, really good question, Lynette. And the good news about that, though, the good news about them bailing out Argentina is that it's angering MAGA. So we start to see these cracks in the MAGA front around Israel, around the assassination of Charlie Kirk, around the bailout of Argentina, around the Epstein files. the united front of the fascists is starting to crumble. Now, that may not matter if they're cheating in elections, which we don't know, but I do think it matters in terms of their ability to have total domination and to continue to gaslight people about what is happening. So I do celebrate the cracks in the MAGA coalition. And thank you for calling in, Lynette. I'll see you on social media, and hopefully I'll see you at the Left Coast Forum. You can sign up on our website, KBLA1580.com. The best of Tavis Smiley is up next. All the highlights from the week that was, and they are incredible. He's had some great guests this week, so I'll be tuned in. Hope you will too. Like my father, the late great poet laureate of New Jersey, Amiri Baraka, used to say, a man is either free or he is not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. It's been a great week. Thank you all for being with us, and don't forget to check out our incredible weekend shows. Until next time, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Sean Diddy Combs will be sentenced today in Manhattan after being found guilty of transporting women for prostitution. Michael Beckner is a defense attorney and says the sentencing will center around abuse.
So how the court considers that type of violence is going to be an interesting thing for the court to see. I think the sentencing is going to take most of the day.
Combs wrote to the judge asking for mercy. A viral clash between Black representatives Jasmine Crockett and Byron Donalds reignited debate over criminal justice reform. The House passed Donalds' D.C. Crimes Act, rolling back juvenile protections he benefited from. Crockett called him hypocritical. And a Black man from Chicago has been named to the Time 100 Next list for 2025. Marshall Hatch Jr. co-founded the MAFA Redemption Project, which supports young men with housing, job training, and education. He'll be honored in New York on October 30th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you really know what's in your tap water? We believe your water should support your health, not work against it. Upgrade your home with a LifeSource whole house system. Clean water from every tap, no salt, no hassle. Call 1-800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Rams coach Sean McVay left himself open for relentless second guessing. He took a major gamble on his team Thursday night at SoFi, and it had a disastrous result. The Rams ended up losing in overtime to the San Francisco 49ers 26-23. With 5 minutes left in the overtime, the Rams had a 4th and 1 at the 49ers 11. Instead of giving Joshua Cardi a chance to kick a very short field goal to tie the game, McVay went for it on 4th down. Rams running back Kyron Williams was stopped short of the first down, giving the 49ers an emotional win. The Rams were 8.5-point favorites. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said Shohei Ohtani will be the team's starting pitcher tomorrow in Game 1 of their playoff series against Philadelphia. In Ohtani's last 3 starts, he is not allowed to run in 14 innings of work and has 18 strikeouts. He looks ready for the postseason. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for